It's raining tacos from out of the sky. Tacos, no need to ask why. Just open your mouth and close your eyes. It's raining tacos.
Hello and welcome to DeltaCo Fireteam Chat. Thanks for joining us. We've been on a short hiatus for the 2017 holidays, but we're back now and ready to talk about Destiny and some tacos. This is Krakenfall, and I have with me No Face. Welcome back, No Face. How's it going?
Living the dream. Welcome back to you as well. Happy 2018 to you, Krakenfall, and all our listeners.
Yeah, to you as well. So, it's been a while since we've met. It's been about a month. How's Destiny 2 been?
I played a little bit, not a ton. Obviously, I think everybody had a little bit less time with the holidays and everything like that, me no exception. So my December was kind of crazy, so I didn't get a ton of time to play. But yeah, I did play some of the Dawning, played a lot more Mayhem than I think I ever have in my life. So that was cool.
Yeah.
But other than that, honestly, I have been playing a fair amount of Warframe, and that's just because I've got some friends that play Warframe. And so since I wasn't able to schedule a lot of stuff with the tacos on Destiny 2, I've been playing some Warframe outside of that just to get the social aspect of my gaming in.
So Warframe is kind of like a third-person, grindy hack and slash, right? It's kind of dungeon crawler.
Warframe is, it is kind of those sort of things. The way I describe it to people who play Destiny is take like Destiny 2, take everything that it's really, really good at, and make all that mediocre. So like the shooting, the the visuals, all that sort of stuff, the sound, it's just very mediocre in Warframe. But take all the things that Warframe sucks at, or excuse me, that Destiny 2 sucks at. Warframe is really good at those. The movement feels spectacular. The depth of the story, it's all in the codices. There's a lot in the actual game, but like it's really in depth. The mod system is amazing. Like there's zillions of mods and they really affect your build style. Just all the things that Destiny sucks at, Warframe's really good at. So if they could like join forces with Bungie, they would just make an absolutely amazing game.
Well, Bungie'd have to listen to them in the first place, but I won't go there.
So nothing has changed from 2017. We're still very, very positive people.
We'll talk about that in a sec, but how's the narrative in Warframe? Because I've been actually thinking about picking it up a couple times. It's free to play, right?
It is free to play.
Okay, so I've thought about downloading it and starting it, but I am so sick of not only open world games that are just really low quality gameplay and gameplay mechanics, but the grindy. I'm not a huge fan of dungeon crawlers. What I do has to have some kind of purpose, whether it's a purpose that I've created, or there has to be a system for me to create that purpose, something that's meaningful for me, or something like story or lore wise that I want to find out and reveal. So is Warframe kind of weak in that, or is it just kind of like a time killer?
So with Warframe, what I'll say about Warframe, especially story wise, is that it's as deep as you really care to go in it. If you just want to go through and like shoot a bunch of stuff, like kill a bunch of aliens and things like that, Warframe will do that to you. If you want, but there's constantly like there's things going on. Like every mission, they'll say something. You kind of have a Cortana. I don't want to say it's a ghost because it's not nearly as annoying, but you have a Cortana that's kind of in your head that talks to you.
Okay.
And like she'll say stuff and you're like, wait, what is she talking about? I'm not really sure what's going on. And if you go back into the codices and everything like that, if you really look, if you want to find out the story of why everything is going on, it's there and it's really, really deep, but it's not going to be, it's not in like cinematics and things like that. You're not going to get a bunch of exposition in the actual gameplay.
Sure. Well, that clears up absolutely nothing for me. So
I think it's a good game. It's worth checking out.
Yeah, I'm slightly tempted, but I'll just have to play around with it a little bit.
We have a clan dojo. Just throwing it out there.
That's okay. Cool. Good to know. I did not mean to turn this into a Warframe interview. So over the break, I had stopped kind of playing Destiny for a while. I actually created I was playing Getting Over It with Bennett Foddy on
Hmm.
PC, and I was doing a stream where I just talked about, just kind of let off some steam about Destiny, and it wasn't even like Eververse related. It was just like, okay, here's why Destiny 2 is completely uninspiring and just not fun for me, or here are all the problems with it. So I might actually edit that up into a YouTube video and publish that. But um,
I'd watch that.
sweet, that's incentive. Um, I did play a lot of, actually, more more than I'd played for a month of the Dawning. Um, More of Destiny 2 than I'd played for a month. Mayhem was fantastic. I don't like Mayhem.
Agreed.
I solo queued that crap. Like, I played that, and even the Void Bomb glitchers didn't keep me down, because like, actually turns out that they only got 1 point for that, and you usually get 2 or 3 points for super kills if you don't glitch it. So I loved just poning people that were using the glitch and just beating them anyway. But yeah, that was really fun, and it felt a little bit like Destiny 1, which is telling. But again, I won't go there.
I will counter that point slightly. It did not feel like Destiny 1 mayhem at all.
Oh no, it didn't.
I'll be
It felt
honest,
like
like,
regular
yeah,
Destiny 1.
yeah, exactly. Which was, yeah, you're right. It's absolutely great. We won't get into the comparisons right now, but like Destiny 1 mayhem for me, I really didn't like that much. But Destiny 2 mayhem, I'm not sure if it's like the 4-man, it's the time to kills, whatever it is, but it feels really, really good to me.
Yeah, certainly. So instead, so after I stopped playing Mayhem, and I guess I did log in a little bit to try and get some Dawning gifts, which actually we're about to go into that in a sec, but that didn't really work out for me, and I'll go into that. But I was playing Overwatch a lot. Overwatch has kind of replaced my PvP. It's been itching, that PvP itch that I have. Competition. It kind of sucks because you really need a 6-stack to do well in competitive.
Hmm.
Um, but learning all the different heroes and all the different abilities they have, and then actually experiencing success after tweaking your playstyle, is exactly what I loved about Destiny 1 PvP. So getting that in Overwatch has been pretty freaking awesome. I love Roadhog because he has a hook and you can hook people and then shoot them in the face with a shotgun. It's great. Um,
Who do you main?
so I don't actually really have a main. If you went by my comp, time played, Roadhog. I think I have
Really?
this season. I have Roadhog 4 hours played. Pharah is coming up because I've been playing Pharah a lot, but I also play Soldier and Diva and Moira and Mercy if really needed. Even though if I'm playing Mercy, we're probably going to lose in a comp game.
Well, so I haven't played Overwatch in a while. I missed almost the entirety of the winter event, which really upset me
Mm-hmm.
because I wanted some of those sweet skins. But yeah, I definitely main Zenyatta
Oh,
and then
good.
Mercy and then Moira. So I'm all
Uh,
support.
Excellent. You and the Bizen are people that we tried to get you in, or we were thinking about throwing you a line yesterday, but then we had someone fill in the sixth spot in the stack. The Bizen also plays Zenyatta. But yeah,
He's probably better.
well, I don't know. I've never
No,
seen you
I'm
play.
terrible. You know this, Kraken. It's okay. We can let the world, we can let the internet at large know
We
that
can,
I'm terrible at
we
all
should
forms
quick
of
play
PvP.
sometime. That'd be fun.
All right.
I've also been playing a bit of VR. I've been watching VR for a long time, since the Kickstarter for Oculus Rift, and I finally jumped in and put my money where my mouth was about how great it was. It is, and bought the HTC Vive at the end of November, and that has been fantastic. It's been so fun. I'm not the kind of person to get car sickness or vertigo or anything like that, so I have just been enjoying every single game I play. Uh, and so I've been playing a lot of that. I freaking love Space Pirate Trainer, and I've been playing. I think I've got 30 hours in Fallout 4 VR so far now. So, um,
Nice. I didn't know there was a Fallout 4 VR.
yeah, it's pretty fun. Like, yeah, it's It's really awesome. I love hip fire shooting because it's literal hip fire shooting, and it just makes you
Last
feel.
word action.
Yeah, exactly. You just feel like Han Solo, and you just just destroy him.
Shooting first.
Yeah. Um, it's a little difficult because then I won't go too into it, but the scopes don't work. The zoom in scopes don't work, so you kind of have to wing it. And since the game wasn't really made for tactile scopes or I don't know what those are called, you kind of have for long range shots. You really have to line it up. So there's a few scopes that you have to use. So close range though, everything feels good. Um, but yeah, that's been my end of 2017, early 2018 gaming.
Excellent.
So let's talk about the elephant in the room. How did you like the Dawning?
So you cut out there for a second, but just so everyone knows, elephants are amazing creatures. And what's really interesting about them is that they will smell feet. Like they take their snouts and they smell feet, and that's how they recognize people. They smell their feet, they remember their scent, and that's how they recognize people. It's really, really interesting. And so this one time when I met these elephants,
Can you
it
not
was
hear
actually
me?
really cool. I was wearing tennis shoes, and they like grabbed my foot and inhaled, and it felt like those giant vacuum cleaner was on my foot. It was really crazy.
You
But the
you've
Dawning,
you've had an elephant
what's up?
smell your foot?
Yeah, it was really cool, man.
Where did you do that?
So when I used to teach, I had my bus license, and so every opportunity to like go on a field trip, like I was there. Like, hey, we need somebody to drive a bus. I'm like, I don't care what it is. Do I get to miss school? And I would drive the bus. So one time I got to drive the bus to go see the elephants, and it was amazing.
Cool. And you got to go in the cage?
Yeah, like they were like it was this big open area or whatever where they had like these 3 elephants. And they were young elephants. They were like 25 or
Oh,
something. So,
okay.
you know,
So like an
youngsters.
elephant nature reserve or whatever.
It kind of, yeah.
Okay. Well, that's a fantastic story. Uh,
See, I told you we were going to get off topic like
yeah,
before
we were.
before subject 3.
Um, so I guess let's talk a little bit about the Dawning, in a little bit more detail. So
Mm.
I don't even know if I want to go into the controversies of the Dawning. There's been so many controversies with Bungie that it's kind of just getting old, and I kind of just want to turn the other way and go have fun doing something else. But they doubled the Eververse loot pool,
Mm-hmm.
which I think is the latest one, and people are just kind of spinning their wheels with tepid rage now. So what do you think of the Dawning? Like, did you like it? Did the goods outweigh the bads?
That's a great question, and this is what I'll say. Like because it ties into the Eververse so much, it's hard not to talk about it.
Mm-hmm.
I think like the Dawning had some cool stuff. The snowballs were kind of fun. I like those. Those were neat. I think like the armor and the shaders and some of those all looked really cool. And again, not to say too much about the Eververse because I don't want to spend forever on it, but one of the things that I can't remember who was saying it, but they're saying having microtransactions in a game inherently breeds mistrust. And so, because at this point, if, there weren't microtransactions, if Eververse wasn't there and all this loot kind of just popped up, like, and you just got these every time you leveled up, right? You couldn't buy them, you just randomly got stuff. You couldn't pay for them or anything like that. There wouldn't be this distrust of everyone thinking it's like, oh, are they trying to put this stuff behind Eververse because they're just trying to get us to spend our money, or is it legitimately supposed to be a RNG kind of prize? Like, can we not dismantle shaders as a group because it's in the coding where it gives us a random amount of bright dust, or do they want us to force us to buy different things from the Eververse and everything like that? So there's all this mistrust that comes from the microtransactions, and that was huge in the Dawning, and so it really turned me off. I didn't do any of the gifts. Sorry, I lost the word there. Saying I didn't do any of the gifts. I played a lot of Mayhem, and then really didn't care about any of the other stuff. That was really, I played Mayhem, and that's what I cared about. That's what I enjoyed. The random other stuff I got from some of the drops, or the random things I completed, didn't really matter to me.
Yeah. Well, and that's that is essentially at the heart of it my experience too. I logged in probably once a day for like a week and a half. Um, After I kind of stopped playing Mayhem just to play and see if I could get some of the gifts, and the gifts actually kind of they weren't fun. Um, some of the gifts were really easy to get. You just had to go kill some stuff over here and then collect some of this stuff over there. But some of the requirements for the gifts were like collect the arcane uh, I don't,
The
yeah,
resources.
the resources. So they're the rare
Yeah.
resources is that what you needed to collect. And those the drop rate on those is really low. Like one per visit to a planet, and that sucked. So I had gifts that took like 3 days to play because I'm not playing for like 6 hours to just get this stupid dawning drop, right?
That sounds awful,
Yeah,
man. I'm
and
not gonna lie.
so I'd go down to a planet and grind for a good 45 minutes, not get the rare materials that I needed, and then just kind of set the controller down. I do the other stuff that I wanted to do, and then the next day I would get another rare drop, and then the next day I finally finished that gift. So like I only actually ended up finishing 2 or 3 gifts, which was stupid. And that
I would not have been able to handle that, man.
uh,
I would have given up on the first one.
right, well, that was just mindless playing. Like I didn't have anything else to do, or I was restless, so I played some Destiny, and I don't think it really helped. So I mean
Hmm.
that's just I've pretty much given up white hot rage with Destiny. I mean that's the grieving process is pretty much done at this point. I'm either gonna play it and get some kind of fun out of it, or I'm just gonna decide not to play. And I'm leaning towards not playing moving forward. Um, Destiny or Bungie really has. I think the mistrust thing is true. Every microtransaction or every system that they include microtransactions with dilutes consumer trust or just player trust, community trust. And I watched a really good YouTube video that I enjoyed that they kind of, it was really clickbaity and they said the fall of Bungie, but they made a really compelling argument. Like they started out with Halo, or actually probably what was that? I don't remember the name, but then
Myth
yes, actually
Marathon.
they Marathon. They went before that, and then they covered Marathon and they covered Halo, and they covered how with Halo they started really building a community, a huge community, and you know Marty O'Donnell had made several comments like the point of the company was to have fun and make experiences that were fun, and that was the core of it. Like that was the point of the company, and everyone felt that, and the air was electrifying every single release that they did, and just it drove everyone to put in their personal you know blood and sweat into making it a good community or a good experience that the community would enjoy, and that really it really did wonders for the building of their Halo franchise. But then later on, around Halo Reach, when they started transitioning like things, I don't actually remember the whole content of the video, but they went through every single release and they went through every step of the way and really dug into it. So if you search on YouTube for the fall of Bungie, I'm sure you'll find it. But it kind of has jaded me a little bit, which I really agree with a lot of what it's saying. And right now,
Yeah,
it's
and
not.
I know which video you're talking about. I've actually watched it as well. So
Yeah,
yeah, and it's really spot on. For those of you who haven't seen it, you really should try and check it out. I mean, well, if you want to be depressed,
yeah,
it's very depressing.
it is, and it's depressing for me because I think I was 11 years old when Halo 1 came out, and I freaking loved that game. And I played it to death. I was one of those stupid 12-year-olds that could snipe you from across the map with 360 no scopes.
With a hand cannon. I can't
Well,
remember
oh
the
no, yeah,
sidearm, whatever it was.
the handgun or whatever, the pistol, and
Yeah.
I freaking loved it. And I've been with Bungie since then. Like Halo 2 online. I remember playing at a friend's house. I didn't get online video games until I think I hit high school or graduated from high school and I got paid for it myself. But um, going to a friend's house and playing Xbox Live matchmaking for the first time was just fantastic. Like that was, monumental for online gaming or console online gaming, I should say. Um, and it just felt so good because people were talking. You'd meet people and they weren't shitbags. I mean, some of them were, but I don't know.
I was like, what Halo did you
Well,
play? Like, what servers were you on?
the population was so high. I mean, there was millions of people playing. That you would generally get a good experience. I mean, that's those times when I was playing with my friends. So it's a small sample set.
Right,
But
right.
anyway, Bungie, like they were my guys. Like they and gals, they were the example of a great, enriching game developer that I could look to and be like, I love their stuff. I'll never not like their stuff. And I was wrong.
Mm-hmm.
Bungie is no longer the same company that made those other games. They aren't the same company that drives community. They're the company that puts stuff out there and hopes their community sticks around now.
So have you ever considered, with all the Vex simulations that are going on, that there's a version of Destiny out there somewhere that's Joe Staten's story?
Well, if the theory of infinite universes or whatever that's called is true, then yeah.
The multiverse.
Yeah. If the multiverse is true, then yes, there's a version of Destiny 2 that is awesome, and I want to go to that universe. So I just need to talk to Rick and see if he'll put something together without putting something in my butt.
Yeah, but that's the universe where everything's on a cob, so you don't want to go there.
Yeah, there are spiders in the ice cream or something.
Exactly. So you and I can't believe we forgot to mention this earlier, and I think you'll know what I'm talking about as soon as I say it. You talked about Mario O'Donnell, and it made me remember, and I actually had to mute my mic for a second because I like nearly knocked everything over throwing my arms in the air. Music of the Spheres.
Yeah.
Music of the freaking
that came out.
Spheres is finally out. The world has access to it, and it's amazing. It's so good.
So, I mean, we should put a caveat. If you aren't much into orchestral music, then you're not going to think it's
You're
that
wrong.
great. You are wrong, objectively. But no,
I like how Kraken just like automatically agrees with me on that one.
No, I grew up. I was in band, and I love music. I'd like to make my own music one day, but orchestral music and orchestra like is my musical root. So that stuff, I just love that stuff. And Music of the Spheres, I think I have 12 or 13 full album playthroughs under my belt, and I'm probably going to keep listening to that stuff because it not only is it great music, but it also is tied to the memories that I have with DeltaCo 71 and Destiny 1 and lots of other sappy stuff. So it's just fantastic.
Yeah,
I love Marty O'Donnell.
It's so good.
He's great.
So good.
Well, I think we can move on to. We don't really have much else to cover. I mean, there was a leak for the next DLC, or supposed leak. We're not sure if it's confirmed or not, but the God of Mars DLC.
Well, I mean, it hasn't been confirmed because, of course, Bungie's definitely not going to confirm a leak,
right.
But they haven't denied it either. So, who knows? Excuse me. It's a really, if you haven't heard about it, it's a Gods of Mars. There was a leak earlier, I think back in November, maybe end of November, beginning of December, where they said it was going to be the Sins of Nezarec or something was going to be the second expansion.
Yeah.
I don't buy that for a second, but now there's a more credible leak from the PlayStation Store in Japan and the US, I believe, where they've got like this Gods of Mars expansion. It's a little shaky, the image they have. Like it looks like it's kind of been altered and things like that, but the info in it is pretty good. Supposedly it's supposed to take place in Mars. It will deal with Rasputin and Charlemagne, but the really interesting things about it, that's according to this leak or whatever, which again, take it with like a grain of salt. It's supposed to have new story missions and adventures, new themed weapons, new cooperative activities, new competitive multiplayer arenas, which is just maps, right? Multiplayer maps. And then the weird thing that I am not sure about, it says new enemy faction. Now, if this is a legitimate leak, I'm really curious. What do they mean by new enemy faction? Does that just mean like we have like the Blue Legion of the Cabal coming in,
No.
or is it actually a new race? Like, it's really, I'm not sure how to take that one.
So I'm generally an optimistic person, I swear, but I'm just fully expecting it to be a different faction of one of the known races already. I doubt it's going to be a new race. Otherwise, they'd say it was a new race or a new species or something.
I'm fully expecting it to be like, for this, almost all of this leak to be complete and total BS. Like, is what I'm expecting.
Okay. Well, that makes sense.
That's me.
I think it looks somewhat plausible, but I don't care, to be honest. I just really don't care, because unless they fix a ton of shit about Destiny, I probably won't care to play it all the way through. I still haven't finished Curse of Osiris, and that's a little bit vitriolic, I know.
Like, out of spite, you just
No,
won't
I
finish
just
it?
couldn't give two Fs. Like I don't care. There's nothing. It's so, like, what am I trying to say? It's so generic. Like, I admit, going into and going back in time, and spoiler alert, going back in time or going through the simulation where it showed them first touching down on Mercury, the Vex first touching down on Mercury, was pretty cool. And like seeing that space was pretty cool, but they touched on it for like 2 minutes, and then you walk into a portal and go somewhere else. And then
it was very shallow.
and then
the entire DLC, very shallow.
Yeah, and meeting Osiris is pretty cool, and seeing his projections is pretty cool, but that again was like 2 minutes. So like every single point where they've like they have so much potential. Infinite Forest, the entire DLC has so much potential to be really awesome, lore-wise, gameplay-wise, and exposition and narrative-wise, and they just like fuck it up. So
And
I don't care.
I think that's the story of Destiny in general, both Destiny 1 and Destiny 2. And Destiny 1 was like hyped up to be a really awesome game-changing game. Sorry for the redundancy there. And I mean, it was in certain ways and anything like that, but it was just a very like huge missed the mark. It could have been so much more when it was released.
But
by year 3, if that had been what was released year 1, like if year 3 Destiny was, day 1 release, it would just be the uncontested greatest game of the past 5 years. I mean, it would just be absolutely amazing. Destiny 2 are like, oh, we're going to get year 3, but better. It's going to be like year 3 on roids. It's going to be great. And it wasn't. And then like
1.
the DLC were like, oh, cool, like one of the most powerful warlocks ever, with this huge character in the lore. We're going to learn so much about him. And we didn't.
Yeah.
It's just this like continual process of like, well, this could be cool, but it's probably not going to be.
Yeah. Yeah, they could have.
And it's sad.
Yeah. I would say that Destiny 1 had a bit of an advantage because we knew nothing about the Destiny world and the Destiny universe.
Correct.
So there was a bunch of world building, and there was a lot of narrative in Destiny 1. Exposition wise, the actual plot line was stupid and hacked up and obviously incomplete at vanilla Destiny. But as far as the world building goes, as far as the grimoire, and which is stupid. Yes, we shouldn't have to go out to an external site to actually view world building, but there was so much unknown about all of the races, and they actually did answer them narratively, like not necessarily through like verbal exposition or anything like that. Like we could glean a lot about the Destiny 1 world from Destiny 1's levels and missions and grimoire and DLC. In Destiny 2, they're just riding on the haunches of Destiny 1. And there's been no exposition. It's been go here, go there, go here, go there. Here's Gull. He's amazing. He usurped the last emperor. Oh, you killed him in like 10 minutes or less. And yeah, anyway. I did not intend to turn this into like I didn't want to be negative about Destiny 2. There's plenty of that out there, but
well, but now that we've opened that can of worms, now
no. Okay, go ahead.
I will actually say one of the things that I did today, completely randomly. I don't know if you've ever heard of the YouTube channel Ghost and Echoes. but it's basically imagine like a radio play, but taken directly from the grimoire cards. They basically read the grimoire, and it's like voice actors and everything like that. And it's really, really cool. And I listened to the entire Last Word and Thorn grimoire cards, and it reminded me how awesome that Thorn and Last Word story is.
Mm-hmm.
And that's the sort of stuff. Again, I don't care if it's in like cinematics. I don't care if it's actually, part of the gameplay or anything like that. But like
Have those
somewhere,
stories somewhere.
those stories need to exist. Yeah. In a codex in the game, if it's grimoire cards, that's not the ideal situation, but
It's
it
something.
works. But like, I want that level of storytelling somewhere.
Yeah. Destiny 1 had depth. May have had stupid depth, but it had depth. Destiny 2 has no depth whatsoever at all.
God, it's pretty though.
Kind of. Yeah. I mean, I made a video about how pretty the skyboxes are, and I could probably make more content on that, but yeah. Anyway, let's actually diverge from some Destiny talk for a little while. Let's talk about 2017, 2018. Do you have a favorite game of 2017?
So I do. You have to you do kind of have to realize that I play a total of like 6 games in like my entire life. But if I had to pick a favorite game of 2017, honestly, it's going to be Destiny 1. Like by far, I logged the most hours in Destiny 1. I know. Like you try to pull us out of this like negativity cycle, and I'm throwing us right back in it.
Yeah.
But I mean, it was a great game. I had, we have a great community in Destiny 1, and year 3 was really cool. I really enjoyed year 3 of Destiny 1 because honestly, actually, let me look at my Steam right now. Yeah, I have like 16 total games in my Steam.
Yeah.
That gives you an idea of in my Steam. People were like, games cost like 3 cents a piece. I have 16 games, so I don't play a whole lot of games.
Well, I'm glad you played Destiny 1. And I didn't mean to. We should have talked about this before, but my favorite game.
No, this makes it better.
Well, my favorite game of 2017 was also Destiny 1, which is stupid, and it's really sappy, and like we're wearing the same shirt to work, but yeah.
So Kraken, I don't know what's going on. Like 2018 is just up because we've agreed on like multiple things this podcast.
I know.
It's kind of scaring me.
And we didn't plan it either.
I know.
No, Destiny 1 was just so great, and I've said this before, but I have the YouTube videos, the montages that I've created, including the Farewell Destiny 1 clan video that I made, that I can go back and watch, and I do every once in a while when I'm feeling nostalgic, but Destiny 1 was great. I played lots and lots of PvP. I had a core group of people that I'd play with. I had the clan that I'd play with often, and it was just great. I hate sidearms, but even that was better than Destiny 2. So, I mean, as far as hours played, you're right. Same for me. It was Destiny 1. Which is really just a cop-out.
I am going to throw it out there. At the end of 2017 in December, I did actually start playing Star Wars Battlefront 2, and it's really good. However, I will tell you, I am playing the 2005 edition, the original, Battlefront, and it's great. I actually never knew how fun that game was, and I've been missing out on it for a decade, so I'm catching up.
It's fun.
So there's some diversity.
Are there any games you're looking forward to for 2018?
I'm sure there are. I just don't know what they are because I don't know what's being released in 2018.
Yeah.
So I'm sure there's some really cool stuff coming out. Is Anthem supposed to come out in 2018?
Yeah.
I'm honestly, I don't know that I'll necessarily buy it, like especially at release, but I'm actually kind of interested to see how that turns out. Like I'm not interested necessarily to play it, but I'm really interested in what happens with it.
Yeah, I'm not.
You're not interested in Anthem?
Well, we're not going to talk about BioWare. I used to love BioWare as well.
I never played a BioWare game, so I can't. I
Never,
can't
not
be
at
mad
all.
at them yet.
You never played the Knights
Nope.
of the Old Republic games. You never played none of the Mass Effects.
Do you want me to read the 16 Steam games I have on?
No, okay. Well, you have a console too. You're telling me you have 2 games for console.
I have Rocket League.
Okay, whatever. No, I'm not looking forward to Anthem because Anthem, like, BioWare has royally screwed up their last couple games too, and it's EA's fault, and EA is a piece of crap, and I'm not looking forward to Anthem. They're going to screw over the customers in some way. I will be pleasantly surprised if they're not, but I'm not buying it launch, and I'm probably not going to buy it unless it really proves me wrong. So
No, I'm with you, and that's completely understandable. I feel like that's legit. Like I've always kind of said, and I always do pre-order stuff, but I've always told people, I'm like, yeah, you really shouldn't pre-order games because that just encourages publishers to release like incomplete games or crappy games or anything because they know they've already been paid. But I really need to actually stop pre-ordering games. And yeah, I kind of learned my lesson with Destiny. So
yeah. All right. Well, I think that wraps it up. Next time we gather, I'm sure we're going to be talking about the Bungie update. Bungie hasn't talked. They just went silent pretty much since last time we had a podcast episode. So I'm sure we'll have plenty to talk about next time.
And to cut them a little slack, I mean, obviously it was the holidays and everything like that. And there have been a couple of developers who have said some stuff on like Twitter and things like that, but there's been no official releases. So yeah, it's been, despite all the dawning Eververse controversy, there's not been any real releases, which is concerning.
Yeah. All right. Well, this has been DeltaCo Fireteam Chat. Thank you for listening, and we'll see you next time.